Hi, my name is Omar Telly Diallo, and I live in Chicago, Illinois. Again, as you know, I used to have an online radio show, the Voice of African Youth Show. There have been so many videos out there, so I just wanted to come before you to explain in English. For those of you who have been following the news in Guinea, like what's going on. So I just wanted to bring you a broader perspective, like what has been or what have been going on in the news in Guinea, like on the aftermath of the October 18 presidential elections. Again, I've done so many videos out there, either on Facebook or on my YouTube channels. Recently I've done in Wolof because like Senegal have been following so closely the elections and the news about Guinea, and I also have done both one in French and English. So in the upcoming days, I will be doing more in French. I will be doing more in English. I will be doing more in Fulani, and of course more in English as well. Again, I wanted to come before you, as I said, to talk about a little bit what had happened, and for those of you who are not really familiar to political situations in Guinea. As you know, there have been so many rallies and protests against the killing innocents throughout the United States. We have seen it on Facebook, in New York, in Washington, D.C., and soon in Chicago, we're going to do one. Pretty much all over the U.S., France, I mean, all over, if you will, all over the diaspora. The Senegal is doing one today. And pretty much all over the diaspora, the Guineans have been rallying and protesting, peaceful rallying and protest against the killings in Guinea. So, like in the aftermath of the October 18 elections in Guinea, peaceful protesters took the streets in the capital city of Conakry to express their oppositions over the attempt by the electoral commissions to rig the elections for the incumbent president Alpha Condé. Now, these protesters were also outraged that Alpha Condé is running for a third term, which is prohibited by the constitutions. Now, please note that under Guinean's constitutions that were adopted in 2010, presidents are limited in 2 5 years terms, like provisions that the constitutions also forbids changing or amending the presidential's term durations. Now let me explain like how Amnesty International's report, human rights report. I will talk about those both reports about Guinea. Now, Amnesty International reported like between October 2019 and July 2020, peaceful protesters were met with harsh crackdown by security forces, leaving over 50 people killed and 200 arrested in the southern part of Guinea. Now, while the opposition's claim more than 90 people, as of course a more realistic number, have been killed in crackdown on protests against Guinea, President Alpha Condé's bid to seek a controversial third term in office. Now, on October 18, 2020 elections in Guinea, Amnesty International also stated that security forces in Guinea fired, of course, real bullets to people as protesters during the post-elections arrest and have at least killed 10 people in the country. Quote from Amnesty International report now, unquote. United Kingdom-based human rights group certified that witness statement and video analysis confirmed protesters were specifically targeted. Now, Amnesty International also condemned the internet disruptions that occurred during the deadly violence. Of course, the violence that began on Monday, October 19, 2020, against UFDG political party militant is still ongoing in Guinea. Currently, Currently, the death toll stands at 57 people killed by gunfire. Now, the majority of the victims lives in the capital city, Conakry, and of course in different regions in the country. That includes Manea, Labe, Mamu, Pita, of course, and Telimile. Now, hundreds of people have been injured by bullets, some arrested, and many areas are affected by significant property damages due to looting. Now, for instance, in Conakry, the repressions continues mainly around the opposition's friendly neighborhood, where security forces now backed into military, of course, backed by the military, have been engaging in all kinds of atrocities in killing direct towards the Fulani community. Now, the kidnapping of bloggers, journalists, and social media young Guineans such as Souleymane Condé, Madic sans Frontiere, they all were kidnapped, if you will, arrested illegally, of course, by the security forces because they have been on social media, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, condemning the violence and the killings in Guinea. Again, they have been kidnapped and illegally arrested. And on the other hand, you have people that supported Alpha Condé, that are on social network on Facebook, that are doing the same thing in support to the incumbent president. But as far as I know, until now, those people have not been arrested. Now, those that have been condemning the violence and the killings have been arrested. Now, again, we are asking for their immediate release. They have been arrested illegally. Madic Sans Frontiere lives in Canada. Souleymane Condé lives, of course, in the United States, in Boston. Now, of course, I have not mentioned those leaders from the political party UFDG that have been kidnapped and arrested as well, that are in prison right now as we speak. Now, again, military and law enforcement officers have gone so far to set fire to private houses and vandalize stores and boutiques that belongs to Fulani businesses owners that are targeted because of their names or their support, of course, or their allegiance to Souleymane Condé, who is the most important, of course, and prominent opposition leader. Now, let me just remind you, it is crucial and important to remind everyone else to signal that, until now, since Alpha Condé came into power, there have been alleged of over 300 alleged killings of demonstrators, and until now, nobody ever been held accountable for those killings. It is important to point that out as well. Now, let me go back and read you the new report that Human Rights Watch just reported. Quote, between February and May 2019, the Guinean government forcibly evicted more than 20,000 people from neighborhoods in Conakry to provide land for government ministry, foreign embassy, businesses, and other public works. The government did not provide adequate notice to most of those evicted or any alternative housing for demolished homes, unquote. That is from the Human Rights report that just came out. Now, again, just go back to tell you the results, how all the results were compiled by, of course, Souleymane Condé and his team. Now, results from the polls have shown Souleymane Condé clearly winning the race of the first rounds by 53%. Now, how did he do that? Now, he sent over 30,000 high school graduates to those polling places. Now, as soon as the votes were over and counted, they took pictures and sent it back to their headquarters, where they centralize it through, of course, through the computer data they set in place to centralize the results in all polling places in Guinea. Now, which comes out 53% clearly makes him the winner of the first round of the elections. Now he needed only 50% to win, he got 53%. Now meanwhile, Alpha Condé is determined to illegally hold on to power through, of course, electoral fraud and violence against the will of the Guinean people. So now the so-called independent electoral commissions took over a week to announce the results. Like they did it like 1 day, 2, 3, 4 days, almost a week to announce the official result. Of course, what does that tell you? It tells you that they took their time to change, rig the elections, and announce the results. Now he and his government, they're doing everything in power. They rigged the elections by violating the constitutions, and of course give fake results about rigged elections. Of course, the European Union, France, and the United States of America have all condemned the violence and the killings of innocent civilians. In addition to the human rights violations, they all have expressed their concerns about their concern, of course. Excuse me, I was gonna read Ted Nagy concerns, but I didn't say that. I'll get back to it probably later. But in addition to the human rights violations, they all have expressed concerns about the questions raised by elections observers and civil society on the lack of transparency and vote tabulations and inconsistency. Now, that is the European Union, that is France, and the United States. And I think, of course, Ted Nagy, if I could find it probably, there was a tweet that Ted Nagy did about his concern, of course, and the lack of transparency. So, again, I wanted just to bring this for those of you that have been following the elections in Guinea, and of course, like, go back and explain what had been happening about the political violence and the killings of innocent people. Again, I will come back later to talk about, of course, the accountability for past crimes, the justice for the 2009 stadium massacre. Until now, nobody have been held accountable. The security forces abuse that I've just talked about, and of course, the corruptions within the mining sector. The freedom of expressions. Souleymane Condé has been arrested. Madic Frontiere have been arrested. Of course, the conditions of the judiciary detentions. I will talk about that as well. And the forced evictions of the 20,000 people I mentioned. Of course, the natural resources, all the corruptions that have been going on in the bauxite, gold, diamonds, and of course, like the bauxite sectors in Bokeh and the buffer regions. I will come back, and then of course, and how the government displaced 16,000 people to make way for the Swapiti hydroelectric. We'll talk about that for electricity, of course, for villages, and without those people have not been compensated. We'll talk about that in upcoming days in other videos as well. So I wanted just to come before you in English for those, like, the English speakers that have been following what's going on in Guinea. Again, thank you for your time. Thank you for listening. We're gonna be making more videos out there for those of you that, of course, speak English or probably speak both languages. We'll be doing more in French as well, more in Fulani, more in Wolof. Thank you. My name is Omar Telly Diallo, and I live in Chicago. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for your time. Thank you.